The moon hung low over the village of Adumesa, glowing like an ember through the smoke of cooking fires. The night was quiet, too quiet, some would say. Even the crickets had gone silent, their song swallowed by the heavy stillness that came from the forest beyond the chief's shrine. Every child in Adumesa knew the stories whispered by firelight, of the drum of Abofo, the sacred drum that breathed with the souls of the dead. They said it was carved from the heart of a cursed Iroko tree, a tree that had grown over a grave where no man should have been buried. Only the chief priest, Okomfontem, was allowed to touch it. And even he only beat the drum once a year, during the festival of ancestors, when the spirits of the departed were invited to bless the living. The people said that to strike that drum outside the sacred time was to summon what should never return. But one boy, Tunde, no longer feared such tales. The boy who would not forget. Tunde was the son of a widow, Abina, whose laughter once filled the mornings of Adumesa. She was a market woman, known for her kindness and the way she sang as she pounded yam, songs that made even the birds pause to listen. But death, cruel and uninvited, came for her when Tunde was only 10. The sickness began with a cough. Then came fever, then silence. Within 3 nights, Abina's song was gone. Her death broke Tunde in ways words could not mend. For months, he wandered through the village like a shadow, refusing food, refusing play. Sometimes, at dusk, he sat by her grave and whispered to the wind, "Mama, can you hear me?" When no answer came, anger replaced grief. He began to despise the gods who had taken her, the priest who spoke of peace, the villagers who said, "She's in a better place." He wanted proof that the dead were not lost forever. And when he overheard the old women whisper about the drum that could speak to spirits, something dangerous took root in his heart. He decided he would find it. 2. The shrine. The shrine of Abofo stood at the edge of the forest, a low, round building made of mud and palm branches. Wooden masks lined its walls, each carved to resemble a spirit who once walked among men. Some smiled, others grimaced. All washed. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of dried blood and palm oil. Offerings lay scattered on the altar, feathers, cowries, bottles of gin clouded by dust. At the center, elevated on a stool of carved skulls, rested the drum of spirits. It was larger than Tunde had imagined, its skin stretched tight across its body, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Strange markings were etched along its rim, symbols that seemed to move when you looked at them too long. Tunde had seen the priest strike it once, years ago, during the festival. The sound had been deep and ancient, a sound that seemed to vibrate through bone. Now, standing alone in the shrine, he felt its pull, gentle but irresistible. He hesitated, his breath catching in the cool night air. "If the stories are true," he whispered, "then she will hear me. If they are false, then I have lost nothing." 3. The drumming. He picked up the drumstick, a piece of palm wood he had carved himself. His hand trembled, but his resolve did not. He struck the drum once. The sound rolled through the air like thunder trapped inside the earth. He struck it again. Boom! The oil lamp flickered, shadows stretching like long fingers across the walls. He struck it a 3rd time. Boom! Then silence. Even the wind stopped moving. Tunde waited, heart hammering. The shrine was still, lifeless. He began to wonder if the stories had been nothing but fear wrapped in old superstition. And then, he heard it. Soft footsteps, far away at first, then closer. The sound of bare feet sinking into wet soil. "Tunde." The voice was faint, carried on the wind. "Tunde, my son." His breath caught. That voice. It couldn't be. He turned toward the doorway. And there she was. 4. The return. His mother stood in the moonlight. Her wrapper was damp, her hair tangled with leaves. Yet her face, though pale, was the same. The same eyes that had once watched over him. The same smile that had soothed him through fevered nights. "Mama," he whispered. She smiled weakly. "My son. You called me from peace." Tunde ran to her, falling to his knees, clutching at her hands. But they were cold, cold like river stones. "I missed you," he cried. "I wanted to see you again. Just once." Her expression softened, but there was something strange in her eyes. A stillness that did not belong to the living. "You should not have called me," she said, her voice low. "The world beyond does not give back what it takes." "I don't care," Tunde shouted. "I just wanted to say goodbye." Her fingers brushed his cheek, gentle, almost tender. Then they tightened. "Tunde," she murmured. "If you truly wish to be with me, then come." Before he could answer, her grip grew stronger, pulling him forward. He stumbled, trying to pull away, but her strength was unnatural. Behind her, the night began to move. Figures emerged from the trees, men, women, children, all thin and grey, their faces hollow, their eyes glowing faintly blue. The air turned cold, thick with the scent of damp earth. Tunde's courage broke. He screamed, "Let me go." But his mother's voice turned sharp, angry. "You called me, Tunde. You called us all. And now, we will not go back alone." The priest and the storm. In the village, dogs howled and babies wailed. The air felt wrong, heavy with dread. Okonfontem woke from a restless sleep, beats clattering around his neck. He knew that sound, that rhythm, the forbidden beat of Abofo. He seized his staff and ran toward the forest, shouting for the men to bring torches. "The boy has awakened what sleeps." When they reached the shrine, the sky had split open. Lightning flashed, revealing the roof trembling as though alive. A sound like weeping came from within. Then a scream, high and raw. The priest pushed through the doorway, smoke stinging his eyes. Inside, the sacred drum had split down the middle, its spirit released. The air shimmered with something unseen, something ancient. On the ground lay Tunde, motionless. His eyes were open, staring at nothing. His lips curved in the faintest smile, as if he had finally found what he was looking for. 6. The silence after. By dawn, the storm had passed. The villagers gathered outside the shrine, whispering prayers. The chief priest spoke in a trembling voice. "The drum of spirits has been silenced. The boy has gone with what he called. May the gods forgive his soul." They buried Tunde beside his mother's grave, sealing the ground with stones. No songs were sung that day. The shrine was left to crumble, swallowed by vines and rain. The priest forbade anyone to rebuild it. "Let the dead rest," he said, "and let the living forget." But the living never truly forget. 7. The echo. Years passed. Children were born and grew old. The story of Tunde became a warning, told by grandmothers beside evening fires. Do not beat the drum after midnight. Do not call to those who sleep beneath the earth. For if they hear you, they will come, and they will not come alone. And sometimes, when the rains returned and thunder rolled across Adumesa, villagers swore they could hear it. A faint drumming deep within the forest. Boom. 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 Followed by a woman's whisper, soft and broken. "Tunde, my son.